How many worship you? Come on, get those hands in the air. I do worship you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Welcome to the Community Shall Be Restored. I'm your host, Prophet Cedric Banks, along with
Prophetess Darnetta Banks.
We have a tremendous show for you today out there in the community. You're going to be blessed. We got a great guest today that's doing some outstanding things in the community. That's to my right, that she's getting ready to talk about in just one moment what she's getting ready to talk about. But the last Friday in March, we have a dynamic city candidate clerk forum. There is a lot of tremendous candidates running for city clerk. Hester Wheeler running for city clerk, who has contacted us, who has RSVP'd. Beverly Kendall Walker, Deanna Wilcoxon, Jewel Ware, County Commissioner, so many more great people running for that office. And we will be holding that forum right here. And many other different forums will be going on. Depending on how large the crowds may be, we'll move right into the sanctuary. Okay, this just happened to be our little recording studio. We get this amount of numbers pretty much every week when our people are on time and everything, right here in the studio. But we got a great show for you today. We have Myra Gracey here, that former Detroit police officer, retired for 25 years, and she's doing some outstanding things with the community. Let's welcome her, Myra Gracey. Tell us what you got going today. What are you doing? What do you want to get out there to the audience who's watching on TV? What's up on your heart? What type of plans and visions do you have to get out there to the community? Tell us a little bit about that, Miss Gracey, would you?
All right. I'm here today representing the city of Detroit on behalf of Mayor Duggan as well as Chief James Craig for the Citizens of Detroit Community Radio Patrol program. The program is not new. The program was initiated in 1967 after the riot so that the community could take back the order in the community themselves. From that point, they were sort of deeming themselves as the eyes and ears of the community. That's really the background of it. Our radio patrols are citywide throughout the city of Detroit. We actually have them from the east to the west side, including Southwest Detroit. The goal of our radio patrols is to identify quality of life issues within their respective precincts and their communities, because where you live is where you're most familiar with the things that go on that are usual and unusual. So our radio patrols are collaborated with other neighbors in that same community, and what they are doing is riding around, identifying things and reporting them. How are they reporting them? They're reporting them in a package system to where we're actually able to connect with the Detroit Police Department and get those things sort of under investigation to rid them from our neighborhoods.
Now, you are a retired police officer of what, 25 years, Detroit?
Yes,
police
sir.
officer, retired, right?
Yes, sir. I retired in 2011, April. And I spent the last 10 years of my career at the 6th and 8th precinct, initially the 8th precinct and then 6th and 8 when they combined us. But hands down, I could have did community relations my entire 25 years.
Wow. Okay, now, how can people become a part of this community patrol? How can people, is there a number or email where they can get in contact with you or your administrative staff? How can they be a part of everything, Myra?
Well, it first starts, I work for the Chief's Neighborhood Liaison Office, directly under the supervision of Commander Todd Bettison, and that is located in Detroit Public Safety Headquarters, 1301 3rd Street on the 7th floor. I will give our phone number out, 313-596-2520 for anyone that's interested in radio patrol. However, there's different forums throughout the community meetings, where I actually met you several times at different community meetings, that I go and present the whole process, and I explain to neighbors how we do it, why we do it, where we do it, and some of the interest comes from that. And block club meetings, community association meetings, precinct meetings, and so the awareness is just from meeting to meeting to try to recruit for our radio patrol. Once we recruit, we sort of look at the applications. There is an application process. People have to be put through our lead system and get approved for the radio patrol program.
So there's a screening?
Yes, there is a screening.
Okay.
Yes, there is. Once that happens, we can connect. But I also want to say that our radio patrols that are existing, they do a great job in recruiting themselves. So they will recruit within their community area, and they'll get those applications to me to give to one of the officers there to run it through the system.
Okay. Now, do you go out to block clubs and assist block clubs?
Absolutely. I get invited.
What type of assistance do you do when you go out to block clubs?
Well, when I go out to the block club meetings, I do a presentation about the entire program. From that, if there's maybe 20 people at a meeting, if I get 5 applications, I'm just ecstatic. And so sometimes, though, we're not always pulling applications to we're not pulling the applications to actually join and establish Radio Patrol. Sometimes if it's a block club meeting I'm invited to and they don't have one. So then we're on the creation mode at that point.
Now, do a person has to have a car, or you guys lease cars or give out cars? I mean, how does that go? I mean,
no,
I don't know.
I won't go on record saying we lease anything. No, we do not.
Okay.
The citizens ride in their own cars that they register, that are registered to them and have insurance on them, of course. And what happens is, if we have someone that does not drive, if we have someone that has never had a license, that does not stop that person from being on radio patrol. We have other opportunities, such as an observer that's in the passenger seat or maybe the rear seat. And we also have a base operator that's the third person in that equation. And we really, really promote that to the point where we don't want anyone that does not drive or have a car to say they can't be a part of the radio
Okay,
patrol.
that's good. Now, that's real good. Mm-hmm. That just because they don't have a car or don't drive, they don't have to feel like they're excluded.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
you know, they want to serve. They want to bring some type of service for Myra Gracey.
When they're utilizing their own vehicle and their gas, is there like a reimbursement that comes to those who are patrolling their areas, or no?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. The mayor has set aside a certain amount of funding specifically for radio patrols, and the radio patrollers are reimbursed 53.5 cents per mile as they drive around in their community looking for those quality of life issues.
So if I'm doing radio patrol, if I'm out patrolling in my neighborhood and stuff like that, something I love to do, watch out for the crooks, okay? Mm-hmm. Watch out for the crooks and everything. You mean I get money for that too?
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
I can't be. What can I start?
I have an application in my packet that he can fill out today. But yes, and that budget has been there for some years. Of course, the amount may change, and I will say respectfully that I'm waiting to bring that budget to 0. And that's how many radio patrols that we should have in the community, so that we can zero that out every year, because that funding will be replaced every year. So it's not as if we will have run out of any funds. So the more radio patrols that come aboard, then we can look at that number as dwindling down. We would love for it to be 0, so we would have to start all over again yearly.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Anybody out in the audience got a question for Myra Gracey? Now, before we do that, you work in the office with the Chief of Police and Commander Bettison, Detroit Police Department, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how is it working with those great guys? I've met them before. How is it?
It's
or just
awesome.
For the TV?
It's awesome. Commander Bettison is a warrior. He is feet on the ground, always.
Okay.
You know, he's very innovative, which I love that. And I will share with you, I go to a lot of evening meetings, so a lot of the times I'm in the office by myself in the evening, and our Chief of Police, if he's leaving, he will come through that area and he will, you know, sort of say goodnight. So he's very personable, and he is 100% on board with the Radio Patrol program.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay, good. I wanted the audience to hear that out there in TV land. Okay, anybody got a question for? Go right ahead, sir.
Myra should mention how many members you need to start a patrol.
Yes, starting a patrol. Initially, the packet says, and I present it as it states, 12 dedicated members in the community to start a radio patrol. However, we need 100. We need 150. And I'll tell you why. 12 people couldn't possibly be all that we need in any community in the city of Detroit to patrol and identify things to make it a safer place to live. The other thing is sustainability. We want to be able to maintain our radio patrols for years to come. And the more people we recruit, the better that opportunity will be, because life happens. Life actually does happen. People have issues or crises, or, you know, just sometimes you're just a little burnout, if you will. And if we just stick to our numbers of the 12 dedicated members, which is all it takes to initiate the process, then I think that we're just steadily recruiting all the time. Recruit, recruit, recruit.
All right. Now, I'm gonna come right to you, ma'am. Okay. Now, I'm on radio patrol. I'm patrolling. I'm patrolling. It's about 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night. I see a guy with a mask on. He's breaking in the car, just breaking out a window in the car. What do I do? Do I pull over, stop what you're doing, or whatever, or do I radio and call the police? What do I do in a situation like that as patrol? Or will I receive training, some type of basic training as I get on this committee? Or how does that go, Ms. Myra?
Well, yes, once our radio patrols are created, we go through training. We go through training on how to identify suspects, how to identify vehicles. We do training such as the paperwork that we have to process for radio patrol once a month. The drivers are, and the people in the patrollers are obligated to do the paperwork on a daily basis, because at the end of that month it's gathered all up so that we can process it for the reimbursement process. But as far as training goes, when you're out there on patrol and you're seeing the different things that are occurring, dangerous and otherwise, that base operator person is one of the outlets that you have to report different things that's going on for some immediate assistance from 9/11. And you also have the option to call 9/11 yourselves, just depending on the imminent danger, which is immediate danger of the situation. I do want to say though, in lieu of that, our radio patrols are out there to observe and report. Now, one of the things we want you to do first and foremost, you've already identified a crisis, something has happened. We want you to maybe get a description of the person that's actually doing this, and not by way of stopping in front of them and letting them actually see you. The other thing with radio patrol we need to understand is when you're out there, you have placards on your vehicle, you're identified. You may have a t-shirt on that represents your radio patrol, and you may have some type of light source.
What is the t-shirt saying?
Well, the t-shirt is representing your radio patrol specifically. The radio patrols are encouraged to design, and you'll see some of those during this segment as well, design their t-shirt as representation of their patrol. And that's a group effort. That's a group effort. So yes, you do get training. Yes, your eyes and ears, you're observing and reporting. Now, the description of the person is so important for the radio patrol to be specifically trained on, because that particular person that did whatever they're doing may walk down the street. We may see them in 2 weeks. So the police need those specific identification and the specifics of that person from head to toe. We're talking how tall, how heavy, complexion.
So you got to make a mental description in your mind. You got to be able to make that mental description in your mind.
Yes, outside of what's going on. So it's a little adrenaline thing going on. So we try to get our radio patrollers to be as calm as possible in describing the person that's doing whatever they may have on. It's 10 o'clock at night, as you said. So that means we got to get a little bit more visual than normals. You know, suppose that person has on all black. So we need to know their height, perhaps a weight, any distinguishing marks or anything, which direction they went into, and just as much information as we can to help the police.
You know, I was going to say, you seem so nice to be a Detroit police officer for 25 years. I thought police officers had to be mean and tough and rough. I would have never guessed that, a Detroit police officer, you, for 25 years, because you seem so nice. Wow. You know, because I expect police officers to have mean, tough, rough, you know.
Well, I think you have it when you need to have it.
Okay.
It's a needs to basis.
Okay.
I will say that. But you know, I mean, we just.
I put that out there for the audience.
Just want to treat people as they treat us, and that goes both ways.
All right. Anybody got a question for Myra Gracey out there in the audience here?
We are non-confrontational, right? We don't get out of the car or anything like that.
Yeah, we're actually observing and reporting. We're looking for the things, like as we said, that we can identify. We're not getting out of the car. We're not chasing anyone. If there is a vehicle, perhaps, that has done something and trying to escape, if you will. Our radio patrols are trained to get the description of the vehicle, get a license plate number if we can. If you don't know the year, make and model, as close to it as you can. Training includes all of that as well. But staying in the vehicle, keeping that vehicle moving, and we're actually just jotting down information, as we said, to turn into the police department for further investigation.
You got a question for Myra Gracey?
The training that the people go through, how long is that training?
Training is forever. Training should never stop. We also have quarterly meetings that we actually have different subject matters at those meetings for the radio patrollers. And mostly now that I'm citywide, I can go and get different input from different patrollers. And we sort of have to prioritize. Our meetings are only 2 hours. And so we sort of just answer and deal with those issues as they come in. But training is forever. If I'm not able to train or come to a meeting, I've asked my NPOs, the neighborhood police officers. I sort of consider them my partners. I also ask veteran radio patrollers to go in and train. Our advisory board is great with training. So we always try to have someone or something to represent this program at training if need be. A lot of our radio patrols are self-sufficient though. A lot of them do train the trainers. So radio etiquette, just think.
Like your NPOs, do they work out of a precinct or do they work downtown? I mean...
Yeah, neighborhood police officers are citywide. They're in each precinct. Each precinct varies on the number.
So you're able to get any of the NPOs?
Well, after 25 years, some of them are my friends, so I might have a little heads up on that. However, they work very hard and they're very busy. So if I can partner with a neighborhood police officer, I try to.
Okay, great, great. Go ahead. I got through. Go ahead.
By being involved with the radio patrol, are there other opportunities to participate through other programs in the city?
Can you be more specific?
We were being aware of like the citizen patrol programs and other aspects to give us more insight into what actually the police officers participating in, or the exposure making the community more safe.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, once a month, each precinct has a community association meeting where each resident from that entire precinct is invited to that meeting. And the captains and the commanders are there, and the NPOs are there as well. So that gives you an opportunity to go in and do those types of things as well. And just citywide, whenever we find out about any training or any meetings, we try to at least email out and give people the opportunity. I will actually be at the Rosedale Grandmont Association Clubhouse at 18445 Scarsdale on Thursday, February 23rd, to actually present about Radio Patrol. And so, although my established Radio Patrols participate and support that, we always encourage them to bring at least one person that is not a part of a Radio Patrol, and that's the only way we can grow.
You indicated that the North Rosedale Community Association will have a meeting, and what time will that be?
That meeting is 6:30 this Thursday, February 23rd, 18445 Scarsdale. It's a great meeting. Myself and also Investigator Brian Fountain, which a lot of people don't want to miss him ever, no matter where he's being seen, is going to do a presentation. And the presentations are crime prevention.
Okay.
Crime prevention.
So what all takes place, I'm coming to you, what all takes place at these meetings?
Well, we have, first of all, the citizens are there. We have the boards that chair those meetings there. And we also have city representatives a lot of the times at those meetings where you're getting information about taxes or foreclosures or different things like that. The police are always there. The captains from the precinct, Captain Pritchett, will be there, as well as Captain Warboys may attend as well. And it's just sort of it's an agenda, of course. It's an agenda that we go by, but it's motivated by just trying to bring citizens in to learn more about what's going on with the community, and specifically to see those presentations so that they can take something back to a neighbor, perhaps.
All right.
Ms. Gracey, some people work and some have family. How much time where you can accept a patroller out there patrolling? I might not be able to devote 2 minutes or 3 hours. How long can you, if I choose to join, how long can I patrol the neighborhood?
Well, there's different facets of it. Of course, this is a volunteer program. I'll first start by saying that. And we don't dictate. The police department does not dictate how often you're out there. So you tell us how often you can go out. However, just watching in your neighborhood and reporting, there are options to walk within a radio patrol if need be, if you have time to do that. And there's also an option to bicycle if you choose to do that. However, the reimbursement only covers those that are in that motor vehicle that's driving and what have you. If you don't have the time, there's other ways that you can include yourself by just watching out in the community and reporting to your radio patrol different things that you observe.
So a person is able to ride their bike and do patrol?
Well, they're riding their bike and observing, where we know when you're riding a bike, there's different areas you can get into that a car can't possibly. And your eye view is different from a bicycle. So yes, we encourage good health, and we encourage them to always be watching out in the community either way.
Now, if I'm doing patrol, because I'm asking this for the audience. If I'm doing patrol, can I be out there with my gun?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
During the training with Radio Patrol, and that's clearly stated, no weapons are allowed while on Radio Patrol. And we're talking generally, as people frown on
I asked that question, Ms. Gracey, because with 8 million viewers out there, I just sense that there's always, out of 8 billion, there's going to at least be 1 or 2 that wants to be a hero.
Absolutely. No weapons of any kind while you are on Radio Patrol. I know we live in a different time now that you're able to obtain a CPL or what have you, but we just ask that no weapons. And there's a sign-off process on that. When you sign up with this particular program, you adhere to that.
No alcohol, no drugs.
Definitely no alcohol or drugs. However, we have had people that were on medication.
Okay.
And if that's the case that particular time, they would just call their base or their roster and just see if they can get a replacement for that particular day and time.
Okay.
Approximately how many radio patrols are there in the city of Detroit?
Right now, there is approximately 39. We have 3 newbies that I'm working with right now to process that are doing great. So 39, and we want those numbers to double.
All right.
So when did the radio patrol start? What year?
1967.
Okay, 1967.
Yes, 1967, right after the riot.
Okay.
So people could sort of, maintain their communities and get things back under control.
Okay.
What are some of the testimonies of the radio patrols that are out there changing and making a difference and things like that? What are some of the stories you've heard?
There's tons. However, I will say that established radio patrols in certain communities, when they're thriving, crime is down, and that's a statistical truth. However, we have, I call them glory stories because I type them up and send them to Commander Bettison because I am out in the community. We have a community of people I'm working with in the 11th precinct that are able to have cameras on the houses and different things.
Okay.
And so the footage that they come up with a lot of times has helped Commander Timothy Leach, and he can attest to this, catch people in the act or for his officers to be on the lookout for. And they were on bikes. So
now, who are having these cameras? The community patrol?
The community patrols, yes. They definitely can invest in apparatuses.
We're not talking about police officers.
No.
Okay, the community patrol. They are the ones with these cameras.
Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
they have the cameras, and they were able to just email the information to me. I in turn can send it to Commander Leach, and they were able to catch those particular gentlemen doing that particular thing at that particular time.
We got 2 minutes left in the program. I want you to look right there in that camera and close us on out. Bring us on home. Whatever up on your heart, bring it out to the residents. The camera's on you now.
All right. My name is Myra Gracey, for those of you that may not have heard it in the beginning. I am a retired Detroit police officer, and I am the Detroit Police Department coordinator for City of Detroit Radio Patrol program citywide. I can't stress enough to let you know that we need you. We need you out on radio patrol, whether it's established or we need to create one. I'm available and able to come to any community meeting and talk with you about how to do that. I can be reached at area code 313-655-0333. I can also be reached at the Chief's Neighborhood Liaison Office, area code 313-596-2520. We need citizens to be a part of this radio patrol program. Thank you so much.
Wow, awesome. What a show today. What a tremendous show today with Myra Gracey. We'll see you next week at 8 p.m. on Comcast Channel 90. I've been your host today, Prophet Cedric Banks, along with
Prophetess Donetta Banks.
And along with
Myra Gracey, City of Detroit Radio Patrol Program.
God bless you.
Can I get a witness here?